Hello everyone, very good morning and good evening. Parminder this side. Welcome to our SAP Step Up Circles. So let's get it started. PPDS, Production Planning and Detailed Scheduling. So what is PPDS and why do it is required? What and why? That is are the two questions we want to get it answered. Before you jump into the PPDS, most of the people here who are joining from the PP background, right? And in PP background, we know that what is planning, right? Specifically, if I talk about for PP or I talk about PP, the planning means we should know what we need to produce, when we need to produce, and how much quantity I need to produce it. Same thing in the planning is what I need to procure it, when I need to procure it, and how much quantity I need to procure it. That is the thing I need to know in a bigger organization. And to know these things, we take help of some planning tools and planning engines, right? To know what procurement I need to do and what production I need to do. Somewhere this production will also be linked with the procurement because it is linked with the bill of material. Production, we are doing finished goods, semi-finished goods, then you need to buy a raw materials, right? Or there can be buy and sell scenario can also be there. So these both are also linked with each other. Now to produce, when we need to produce, what quantity we need to produce, okay, and what we need to produce. To do this in PP module or in module, we take a help of a planning engine, which is called MRP. MRP's Material Requirement Planning, okay. And MRP is available within S4HANA. In ECC also it is available. In S4HANA it is also available. In S4HANA we have a MRP live also available. So this MRP is a planning engine which can tell us what we need to produce, when we need to produce, and how much quantity we need to produce. It can take forecast into the picture. It can take stocks, it can take all the demand, and then it can calculate and tell us what we need to procure it and what we need to produce it. Now the question comes, in S4HANA through this MRP tool, if we already know what we need to produce it, how much we need to produce it, and what we need to procure it, then what is the use of PPDS? So PPDS kahan use karna mere bhai? Where we are going to use PPDS? That's the question arise. To understand this question, that where we need to use PPDS, you need to understand there are a lot of limitations. MRP has a lot of limitations. A lot of scenario MRP does not respond or MRP cannot do the accurate planning. Those places we need to go for not only PPDS where MRP does not support, we need to go for APO, Advanced Planning and Optimization. Under the APO, there are the multiple modules are there. We have a demand planning, we have a supply network planning, we have a AATP, Advanced Available to Promise, then we have a PPDS also. Then we have a PPDS also. So these all are planning solutions. The limitation which MRP has within APO, Advanced Planning and Optimization, SNP, PPDS, DP, not the AATP, sorry, this is in APO, it is GATP. These are the things which can provide you the solutions, which can provide you little better solutions. Now APO is going to sunset. So SAP has said that DP, Demand Planning Solution, will be part of IBP. SNP would also be part of IBP, Integrated Business Planning, a separate cloud-based product. PPDS they use as a ePPDS. It's ePPDS, it's embedded in S4HANA. Similar way, GATP, they have shifted to AATP, which is embedded in S4HANA. So these two products, PPDS and GATP in form of AATP, are now embedded in S4HANA, right? So that's where the PPDS comes into picture, but still you need to understand a little bit more thing in clear. What are the MRP limitation? are there where basically MRP cannot do the job, because that understanding is very important. You would be able to appreciate PPDS once you would be able to understand what MRP cannot do and PPDS can do. There is also a lot of similarities there. MRP can give you the purchase requisitions. MRP can give you the stock transfer requisitions. MRP can give you the planned orders. PPDS can also do all these things. PPDS can give you purchase requisition, STRs and planned orders. PPDS can also do. So it is very important to understand what are the scenarios are there, which is not supported in MRP, material requirement planning, which would be supported through PPDS. Do anyone knows what are those scenarios are there? If you know, quickly mention in the chat. Anyone know what are the scenarios where MRP does not support? You can try to put your answer in the chat. And if you don't know, put NI. Constraint-based plan. Okay, very good. Lead time scheduling. Finite planning. Shabash. Very good. Anyone else? So Bhupender has shared the links where it is mentioned that we are starting a batch, and Holy Festive discount is also started, which will remain for 3-4 days. 50% discount is also there, right? If you want to avail it. Later on, don't come to me कि sir कोई discount चाहिए है नहीं, right? So in that, when we are starting the training, and we are starting the training, if I'm not wrong, is from March 16, when we are starting the PPDS training. Every session of the PPDS, you would be able to come to know the scenarios, which is not supported in MRP, but PPDS can do it. But I will try to give you the high level picture of that what are the limitations of MRP where PPDS can play a role, and there are many, right? I will try to give you the few of them, but actually there are many scenarios out there. So to understand, let's talk about a couple of examples and results for MRP, right? So we want to produce a product A, product B, product C. Okay, these products we want to produce, and it would be produced on work center. Work center, you all know, machine or a group of machine. They all would be produced in work center 1. Okay, and the time taken to produce is, this is 1 hour. Let's say this is 2 hour. This is 3 hour. That is the time which would be taken by them. And requirement date is, let's say 10th of March. All of this we require 10th of March. 10th of March, they would be available, right? If you run a MRP here, what would be your results of MRP? MRP results will look like something like this. So we require on 10th of March. It will start from 9th March. 23:59. It will start. It will say that this is the order 1, order 2, order 3. It will tell us the MRP results will look like this. Order 1 need to start from 22:00 and need to be finished by 23:59. This is order 1. Order 2 would start from, this is 23:00, 22:00, and it will finish here. And then order 3 will start from 21:00 and it will finish. So this is kind of a scheduling which you will get it from MRP. Now this is not a finite scheduling. This is not a finite scheduling. It is giving you on same work center, it is giving you 3 products to be produced in parallel. Okay, 3 products need to be produced in parallel. Actually, the results which we expected with the finite scheduling, that this order should come here and this order would be come here like this. One order here, one order here, one order here. This is the thing which we expect from the planning. But what MRP gives? MRP gives us like this. Because MRP planning is not constraint-based planning. MRP planning is planning which is called as a infinite planning without any constraints. It does not put the constraint. So that kind of sequencing of operations if you required, or that kind of exact sequence, what time I need to start, what time I would be finishing it. This is called the detailed scheduling. If you need this kind of detailed scheduling from the system, MRP does not support bhai. PPDS is the tool which will be supporting this. Okay, PPDS will be the tool which will be supporting it. That is the one scenario where it does not support, right? There can be also cases, let's say you are producing something. It's product A you are producing. It is produced on work center 1, work center 2, work center 3. This take 1 hour, this take 2 hours, this take 3 hours. Different one, right? This one, it will propose you same product is there. The operation scheduling, it would be able to give you like this. Not a problem, right? But let's say this work center 2 is under preventive maintenance for 4 hours. So actually, these 4 hours, this work center is not available. So the expectation should be from the planning, that planning should be able to understand, and this operation it should suggest that it need to be produced here and this one produce here. So it should start from here. It should consider that in between this work center 2 is not available. It cannot be available because it is in the preventive maintenance, or it cannot be available because it is producing another product. Some another product it is producing, its capacity is not available. So that is called the capacity constrained planning. MRP does not do. When MRP plan it, it gives you this results, the top results, because it considers the infinite capacity. The resource or the work center has an infinite capacity. That's what MRP thinks and give you this results. But actually, if you want to do the detailed scheduling, this is the expected results. You want to respect that in between a work center is overloaded and capacities are not available. So that scenario also is not supported in MRP. There are so many scenarios we can sit for the full night talking about that what PPDS can do. If you know about the, we call it as a change over time planning. Where you are producing a product A in a line, and then you can shift, you have an order for product B, then product C, then product D, right? Product B, product C, product D. This is also called the setup time planning. So from product A to product B, it is setup time is 1 hour. Product A to product C is setup time is 2 hours. Product A to product D, setup time is 4 hours. Okay. Product B to C, setup time is 8 hours. And product C to D, the setup time is 12 hours. So if you want to respect this time, you need to produce your product in that sequence that these times can be reduced. If that much of high product setup time is there, then it would be very difficult if you don't plan it accordingly. If you are producing first product A, then B, then C, then D, then it can be the huge timings in between can be taken for the setup. So you need to take care of that. This setup time need to be considered for the planning or detailed scheduling, so that I can have my setup time optimization. The setup time optimization MRP cannot do, PPDS can do. Preventive maintenance. If machine is under preventive maintenance, MRP cannot consider that its capacity is not available, PPDS can do it. If you have uh, uh, source, which is your manufacturing plant, this is distribution center. So the product can come from M1, product can come from M2, product can come from M3, and then you need to decide wherever the cost is less, wherever the comparative cost is less, right? Based on the cost, you need to analyze whether you should get the material from M2 manufacturing 2 or manufacturing 3 from DC. Accordingly, your STR need to be created. That scenarios are not, MRP does not support source selection. MRP, whatever the special procurement key you have defined, based on that special procurement key, always try to get it from this one or maximum with the quota arrangement. It cannot optimize it that when the material is coming, how much of the delay between this two plants, what is the priority we have, those kind of things we cannot do it. PPDS can do it. PPDS would be able to respond to these kind of scenarios. So these are the just few examples where basically MRP does not support, but PPDS, production planning detailed scheduling, would be doing it. PPDS cannot do the planning at the seconds level. Minutes and seconds are there, right? But PPDS can do that planning. MRP cannot do your bottom-up planning. Now, what is bottom-up planning? Bottom-up planning is that you have planned, okay, FG, SFG, and raw material. Now, the raw material guys say that this purchase requisition you have created, I would not be able to get it on 15 January. I would be able to get on 20th January. He changed the date in the purchase order. Based on this date change, SFG dates need to change, FG dates need to be changed. The full plan need to be shifted. MRP does not shift that plan. What MRP will do? Just give you the exception message. Ki, bhaiya, these are exception message. You check yourself and resolve yourself. It does not have a solution. PPDS has a solution. So there are so many scenarios are there. When we jump into the detail of the planning and the scheduling, you will be able to come to know there's a lot of places are there. MRP is not a right tool to give the solution, although the MRP for the basic planning is a very good tool, but still many places MRP is not able to support. You need to go ahead with some another products which have the complex algorithms to resolve these issues. Okay, that's the place where basically the PPDS comes into the picture. With this brief explanation, now you would be clear that what is PPDS and what are the places the PPDS would be coming into the picture, right? So I have worked on PPDS, but I have not worked very deep onto the PPDS. The detailed and the deep work of the PPDS has been done by the two gentlemen which we have in the session. We have Mr. Sam and we also have Mr. Nikhil. Mr. Nikhil and Sam, they both would be the trainer for the PPDS for us. Nikhil would be the main trainer, and Sam, as many of you would be knowing, is our IBP trainer also. He is in the industry for more than 20 years. Worked on PP, worked on APO, PPDS, demand planning, SNP, then handling IBP for so many years. The similar way, Nikhil also has 15 plus years of experience, and on embedded PPDS itself, S4HANA embedded PPDS itself, Nikhil has more than 5+ years of experience. So Nikhil would be our main trainer when we are starting the batch, but Sam would be available as a co-trainer also because of his wide experience in APO PPDS. So with that brief introduction, I would like to invite Nikhil and Sam, and I would like to hand it over to them. I have just cleared the picture, put it the base, कि भैया why PPDS is required. Why PPDS is required. Now I need to cover two more topics, which I would be covering after their session, is what are the job opportunities in PPDS and who are the right candidate to learn PPDS that I would be covering. But before I cover that, let me give it to Nikhil and Sam. They will take you to the full PPDS overview, the process flow, and something in system and the curriculum also. So Sam and Nikhil, over to you.
Okay, so the basic objective of the PPDS to have the resource scheduling and the sequence optimization, considering the setup time and the changeover time metrics, fixing the order at the resource level and create a finite production plan over the PPDS horizon days. So this horizon days is basically a short-term planning, which this classic or a basic PP doesn't have this functionality. So with the short-term planning is that in the PPDS, the provision is provided by the SAP. Okay, where you can
just to let you know, you have not shared your screen yet.
I have not shared. Just give me a second. I will cover the slides and then I will share the screen definitely. Okay. So just I want to say that it has a horizon days. Okay, with which planner can do the short-term planning. Okay, and the second point, which I just want to mention about the PPDS, with the PPDS manufacturing for planning and scheduling, the MRP and the capacity requirement are executed simultaneously for the better accuracy of the production planning result. Whereas the basic PP, the MRP and this capacity requirement are running separately, which means that basic PP doesn't do the finite, but the PPDS can do the finite. Also, it does the unconstrained planning also. Okay. So this is the basic difference of the PPDS. Now let me share the screen. I will take over what the curriculum, in the curriculum we will be trying to cover in the PPDS. Also, I will going to share with you first slide, what is the basic process flow in the production planning with the embedded PPDS in the S4. Okay, let me share the screen. Okay, so let me just pull the first slide. Okay, so let me minimize this one. So this is basically a flow of the production planning and detailed scheduling in the S4. Okay, which we can say that it start with the config, one-time config. Okay, in the S4 HANA, where we'll be setting up some profile settings. We are doing some integration. Okay, now here in the integration part, what I would say in the S4, SAP has reduced the data integration efforts to a lot of extent. What I mean to say, in earlier APO, we have to create an integration module for each and every master data and transaction data, which in the embedded S4, it has reduced. It doesn't mean that we don't have to create any integration module in the S4, but there are a few master data. Initial basic one-time integration module has to be created. For an example, to integrate the purchase info report from S4 to live cache. So those are required, and there are a few more which, when I touch base the system, I will talk to you about that integration part also. Okay. So this first step is basically a one-time activity to config the PPDS. Okay. Now the second is the setup of the material. Okay, in the S4. Okay, which will taken into the embedded PPDS automatically over the SIF configuration. Okay, which has the resource masters, bill of material, production version, and etc. Okay. After that, we had the functionality in the PPDS to consume the incoming sales order to the forecast. So basically, for the scenario of make to stock order, make to stock or make to order. Okay, this functionality is used, which means that at any given of the time, whichever is higher net of the forecast and sales order, it will be planned by the PPDS. And it doesn't plan both, that is sales order and forecast. A net of this both. And that strategy we can build up in the. So after that, we will run the MRP. Okay, and those MRP can be run either constrained or unconstrained. With the unconstrained, I can say there are the heuristic where multiple heuristic algorithm is provided by the SAP, okay, where we can run this to know the rough cut planning. Or rough cut means whether my resource is capable to fulfill my demand or not. Those rough cut planning basically planner takes, which we call as unconstrained planning, without considering the capacity and the material constraint. And there is an optimizer also, okay, which we call as a constraint, which means that if there is no capacity available, the demand will be dropped, okay, and it will plan respecting the capacity and the material availability is there. However, if a planner wish that still, if there is no capacity, that demand has to be pushed forward and see if there is any capacity available with plan. So there are some parameters in the location product master is provided, which we call as a delay days. If you give the delay days, the system will try to push that particular demand to those delay days and respect the delay days and plan it. So that way that can be controlled, that parameters, which we call as a delay days. Okay, and the non-delivery cost. Okay, with the non-delivery cost,
Nikhil,
yeah.
just can you also point to what is the which box we are talking about in the graph? Yeah.
Okay, so I'm talking about this box. Unfortunately, I could not able to highlight that particular because of some constraint at my. So I just arrow key I have placed here. So I'm talking about this constraint planning at present. This constraint MRP. Okay, with this constraint planning, planner can have the constraint result, which means that it respect the capacity and it respect the material. Okay, and it will plan if the capacity is available in that particular day. Okay, there are two parameters in the master provided delay days. If suppose delay days is given 30, so it will push that demand to 30 days and it will see the capacity in that 30 days. If there is available, it will plan, it will not drop. Okay, and there is also one parameter called as the non-delivery cost, which means that if suppose you want to prioritize the product, I have a capacity, but I can produce only one product at a time. Okay, we can give a higher non-delivery cost to, okay, for that particular product. Okay, and the lower non-delivery cost. So accordingly, whichever cost is higher, it will plan first because that will be a loss to the business. So it will respect that particular product and it will plan in the capacity constraint. So with these two parameters, it can plan. I will show these parameters also once we log into the system and we can try to explain that also. Okay. And one more thing, once the MRP is run, once the MRP is being run, okay, then there is a every apps available where a planner can see how my resources are being loaded. Okay, whether my resource is overlapping. Okay, which we have just seen in the earlier screen. Okay, there is a overlapping because MRP old MRP will plan in the same date. Okay, now this unconstrained will plan overlapping. Okay, now to remove that overlapping, which we call as a capacity leveling. Basically, we call as a capacity utilization. Okay, then we can run a heuristic. There is a heuristic provided to sequence those capacity. Those sequence or a sorting can be done based on the setup group. Okay, so based on the setup group, a capacity leveling can be possible. Okay, through the heuristic. Okay, automatically. Okay, and we can have the capacity leveling also. That also we will going to see in the system. Okay, and we have an optimizer. Okay, so basically optimizer when we run, it will plan and respect the capacity and will plan accordingly. It will drop the demand where there is no capacity available. Okay, so the result of all these PPDS run, with MRP run, is to create the plan order or STR or purchase requisition. So these are basically which MRP has that output. This same output is being generated by this also. Okay, and once the plan order is and purchase requisition is created, it gets converted either into STR or a process order, and it is released. QM part is done, TECO is done, and the completion happens. So this is basically a general flow of the PPDS MRP run. Any question, participant, you have to ask on this flow, or which I missed out to share? You can put on the chat, or I can go into the chat and see.
There are two questions in the chat.
Let me see. is the final output of plan order with a sequence number. I didn't get the sequence number, what you have final output. I didn't, if you can elaborate this. Definitely this plan order has a unique number, okay, which I can say, but with sequence number, I didn't get you. What do you mean by sequence number?
No, what he's trying to ask, what I think is V. Kumar, he's trying to ask whether the final output which we'll be getting for the planned order, that would be the planned orders in the sequence, whether we'll be getting in the right sequence from the PPDS.
Yes, once we run this capacity leveling, heuristic, then you will get all in the sequences, and that we will see in the system. I will run the heuristic of this capacity leveling, okay, and then the PPDS MRP, what will do, it will sequence the order one by one, what we have seen in the earlier graph. So yes, it will be in the sequence, definitely. Okay, and the second question, how is this used in the retail industries? Retail industries, I'm not so sure on because I've more worked on the chemical industries, okay, and the food industries. For the retail industries, any specific scenarios you are trying to understand, then I can speak on that scenario. Any specific scenario you want to see in the retail industries? If you can tell me that scenario, then I can explain that.
So let me answer Ansar Muhammad. So Ansar Muhammad, retail industry which I have seen, I have exposure to, is more handling into the retail side, which is more into the selling side of it. Under the retail, if the manufacturing is there, so PPDS talking less about the industry specific, but talking more where the manufacturing is there. There it has a more role to play. So in my experience, when I have worked on the retail industry projects, retail industry projects has less manufacturing and more selling into it, more doing the retails part into it. So PPDS has less role to play there. Just to answer your question.
Okay.
Vinay Kumar has the next question. How is this different from
Setup.
setup group metrics in
Okay, let me explain this. So setup group and the group matrix. Okay, so these are the two different master data available. Okay, the setup group is basically being defined in the recipe for the each operation. Okay, if suppose there is a changing from one operation to another operation, there is a setup or a cleaning time required. Okay, so that particular setup time is been defined between two operations in the recipe. Okay, and when we do the capacity leveling, okay, so this one of the parameter can be used to do the sequencing. For an example, I have 4 products, okay, and the 2 products have a same setup group. Say example 01 I have defined, okay, and a third product has a 02. Okay, so when I run the PPDS MRP and do the capacity leveling based on the setup group, what system will do? It will try to sort and bring all the common setup group in the one and plan it, and the third it will plan after that. So this setup group is basically used to do the sorting or sequencing. Okay, and it has been defined in the recipe under operation. Whereas for the setup group matrix, this is basically a changeover time. Okay, if I change the production from one product to another product, okay, it takes, say example, 5 minutes or 10 minutes. If suppose there is a changeover between the same product, then I don't require any changeover time. It will be a 0. Okay. So this is another master data, okay, which SAP has provided, where you can mention the setup group matrix. And when we run the optimizer, this optimizer will read this setup group matrix and it will try to optimize it. Okay, so basically for optimizing the setup matrix, this data is being used, and it has both are the different master data is maintained differently with different report. The whole objective is that we cannot take the setup time after every plan order because it will be a definitely loss for the business. So you will going to take the setup or a change over time whenever there is a change between the operation or change between the product. So that's why this two master data is being used. And this scenario we will also see in the system when we log in and go through the system. This scenario we're going to see it. Okay, so hope I answered this setup and setup group matrix. So I think there is another question on this is okay. Retail is okay. How to plan in advance the work center wise? How to plan in advance?
I think the question need to be elaborated, Kirutika, or everyone who is putting the questions. If you
Advance.
put the elaborated question, it would be easy for us to understand and respond. I think question is not clear.
Advanced work center, if suppose you want the how to prioritize the work center. If your question is that how to prioritize my work center. Say example, I have 4 work center and one particular product can be planned in any of the work center. If this is your question, then yes, with the cost, there is a cost element given in this work center. Okay, and based on that cost, that is PDS, we call as the data as a PDS data, master data source. There is a cost element involved, and based on that cost, the system will select accordingly. There's a one way, and the second way is the what I can say this production version. With the production version also, we can advance the work center. Okay, so if that's a question, okay, how we can do the prioritization of work center in planning. Okay, is there a work center hierarchy also helpful in the PPDS optim capacity at a higher level of the higher hierarchy? No, this question has to be elaborated. I didn't get this question about the work center hierarchy.
So the question Shilpi is trying to ask Nikhil is, we have a work center hierarchies, right? Where one work center is connected with another work center, and another work center is connected with another work center. So all the work centers are connected with the hierarchy. So when the PPDS is doing the optimizing, can you check the optimization of the capacity for all the 3 levels? Maybe the current work center capacity it is checking, but it need to also check whether the giving the load to this work center can have a overutilization at the hierarchy level work center.
Okay. So if I understand, this is basically what I understand the scenario maybe the resource networking. If this is the question. So yes, if the question is related to the network resource, so yes, PPDS support this. What do you mean by resource network? Say example, I had one particular product which can be planned in multiple work center. Okay, when we run the optimizer, definitely our optimizer will try to fit the plan in one work center. If the capacity is not available, it automatically shifts to another work center. So this optimizer engine does that. However, if suppose planner wants to do the manual shift from one center to another work center, a plan order in the detailed scheduling board. So yes, if we set up this resource networking master data, then with that resource master data, we can shift or we can drag down the plan order from work center to another work center, and all the related FGs or material will also move according to that movement of the plan. So if the question is related to the resource networking, so yes, the PPDS support that particular functionality. Okay, so I can showcase that scenario also I had in the list. Okay. And does this
Nikhil, we can move ahead to the we can park this question for the end.
Okay. So let me just go to the curriculum part basically, which is a basic. So let me go there. Okay, so in the training program, we have this particular agenda, okay, which we will try to cover it. Okay, so which basically we'll talk about the production planning functionality, advanced production planning with the PPDS and the related PPDS master data, how to build up in the or create in the S4 site. Okay, what is the basic function? And what are the reports of Fury apps available to evaluate the process and the reports? Okay, and different types of heuristic also, as you mentioned, the bottom-up heuristic. Okay, we have some schedule sequence heuristic. We have some custom heuristic also. How the custom service heuristic can be developed. That also we will try to because SAP has provided the flexibility to write their own heuristic. Okay, so that also I will try to figure out of. We will go through the integration of SIF, okay, different types of data transfer, and do some real-time example. Okay. Now in the production planning, we will see definitely the material planning. Okay, as we said that in the S4 we can do the classic MRP and the MRP live also. The only difference what I have seen that in the MRP live, okay, we can give the multiple plant and multiple product and run the MRP run, which I think in the earlier PP days, we had only one plant and multiple products. Okay, that's a change S4 has or SAP has brought here in this live MRP. And basically the speed is also very high. Earlier when I experienced that it takes very long time to execute the whole MRP run with the PP. But with the new data module, the MRP run execution is very fast. Okay, it has a multiple level. Okay, we can run in one go. We give the in selection FG, it will plan your SFG and all related. It will explore the bomb basically and plan accordingly. Okay, it does the capacity and material requirements simultaneously. Okay, and we will see the heuristic run, and we will also see the optimizer run in the production planning run. We will see both how it helps. Okay, when we will see this unconstrained and constraint planning, that is finite planning, which will plan the raw material also. And we will see the multiple resource, as I said, that network resourcing. Okay, we'll see the production data structure, as I mentioned, that PDS, which is a combination of production version, bill of material, and the recipe. Okay, and how to prioritize if we have a multiple production version. How the system plans. That also we can see it. We will see the pegging functionality also, which I means that there is dynamic and fixed pegging. What I mean to say, okay, that plan order is has been pegged to either sales order or forecast data. So that basically pegging definition. So we will see that also through the planning board. Okay. And there are few Fury apps. Okay, we will see that also. Fury apps to see the plan order and definitely the optimizer configuration. How to get the finite production. So these are all the basically curriculum points which we when go into the system and try to train you. So we will touch base all those things by running one end-to-end scenarios. So that's from my side. Sam, you want to add something? I'm audible?
Yeah, you're audible. You're audible.
Yes, Nikhil, I think you covered it very well. Looking at the curriculum, probably team would have some questions or pictures in mind, right? I, as an PP consultant, normally focus on the execution part. So as Parminder also explained over the concept of planning, and Nikhil, as you are also elaborating, this curriculum will help us understanding the planning part of the production site, right? Before execution, there is a need to plan the production at a lowest granular level, at a work center level, at a resource level, looking at the labor capacity, looking at the machine capacity, and so on. Generating a base plan, look at the capacity leveling options, see opportunities to sequence using different algorithms. That's the overall objective of PPDS, right? Where we call it as production planning and detailed scheduling, which we'll try to cover as much as possible during our curriculum, right? So this curriculum will not be only specific to system. We should be able to understand the business process altogether and then see how that business process can be managed using EPPDS functionality of S4HANA, right? So that's the thought process what we have from the curriculum execution perspective. Maybe Nikhil, you can go ahead. I think Nikhil, you're on mute.
Nikhil, if you're speaking, we are not able to hear you.
So I think there is a question from the View Kumar that there is an app available to see the production orders. So yes, there is a detailed app available to monitor the production orders details. So yes, there is a.
Yeah, I think we have a good understanding of the curriculum expectations, Nikhil. Maybe if you can share your screen from the system perspective, I'll quickly give some glimpse of the PPDS part of it, right? So do not spend more than 3 to 4 minutes on that, but just to see
Yes.
how the PPDS part would look like from S4.
Yeah, definitely I'll share the system. But the only thing is that at present the master data related to the PPDS, we will be missing in that. But definitely we will showcase with the Fury apps and some of the transactions. Okay, so let me go to the system. Is there any important question I missed out in the chat? We are looking in terms of capacity planning for the labor pulled capacity and how they can be aggregated in the hierarchy. Okay, so pool capacity is there, but it is a very detailed scenarios. Okay, but to answer this question, yes, PPDS support the pool capacity, labor pool capacity. So the functionality is there in the PPDS, but it is a very complex scenario. But I can say here in this to answer this, yes, it supports pool capacity supports. Is the PPDS advanced version of the PP? Advanced, yes, basically you can, because the things which cannot be doing the PP, the PPDS will do that. For an example, there are many scenarios through which PPDS support, for example, campaign planning, for example, tolling, that is subcontracting, for an example, product interchangeabilities, okay, then tank filling, tank capacity. So these are all the scenarios which PP doesn't support at present, but PPDS supports that. Those scenarios, all advanced scenarios, which today's business they are looking forward, particularly tank planning. Okay, can you showcase the part in the system? I didn't get the full form of this SPME, what it is. We didn't get the form. Is there any relation between the advanced planning view and the material master with the? Yes, it is that advanced. I will just show this particular to in the MM0 MM03 or 2. Will we get the advanced planning access in the scenario? I think Parminder will answer this. Yes, I think you will get this access also. Definitely. So let me jump to the system. If I have cleared this all.
Yes, so the system access would be provided. It would be the S4HANA ePPDS system access. It would be the same system access which Nikhil and Sam would be using. Exactly the same system access would be provided to you.
Right. And Nikhil, I can understand your anxiety and probably you would like to show as much as possible. During the overview session, probably we'll have time limitations. Team just wanted to emphasize on one specific pointer is during the curriculum, we will not be rushing around on the completion of training curriculum. We have to make a pace as slow as possible so that any fresher can understand it, and as optimum as possible so that experienced resource can also take a pace with it. Right. So we'll balance our pace during the moment we evolve during the curriculum. But as Parminder mentioned, maybe he will also touch base after the discussion with Nikhil, how this curriculum will help you from shaping your role from one level to another. Yeah, Nikhil, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So if you can see my screen, I've logged into the S4 HANA. Okay. S4 system, GUI basis. Okay. I've gone through the MM part, material part. So someone has answered a question on the chat. Is the advanced planning is available in the material? Answer yes. So this is the tab which SAP has provided to have an embedded PPDS functionality. So there are some data which a planner needs to be provided to distinguish a material whether it is a PPDS run or not. So if you flag this particular, okay, with this indicator as tick, so the system, when we run the MRP, that is PPDS heuristic, it will go and search the related data. So very basic first data, it will look into the PDS, that is production data search. If it doesn't have that production data structure, it won't plan it. Okay, so and with this indicator, when we run with the classic MRP, it will, I think it will still run, provided if we have a bill of material. So that's one thing. Okay. And I'll not go into the detail. Okay, I just want to touch base this horizon. Okay. So as I was mentioning that if suppose the planner wants to do a short-term planning, short-term PPDS planning. Okay, so this is a data where a planner can mention. For example, if a planner maintaining 30 days, what it means the 30 days for this particular combination of material and plant. Okay, if there is any demand within the 30 days, the system will going to plan it. It means that PPDS will create a plan order or a stock transfer. Okay. If that demand is within this 30 days, if I mention here 30 days, and if any demand fall after the 30 days, the PPDS MRP run will skip that because you said PPDS, you do the short term. So with this parameter, short term planning in the PPDS is possible. Okay, that's one thing. And the second important, what I was talking about, the cost, okay, that which optimizer reads. Okay, so you can see these demand penalties, okay, which I was talking about, delays. So if you maintain the zero delay, so it means that if there is a no capacity available, the demand will going to drop. If you mention here 30 days, system will try to plan it 13 days if the capacity is available or not, and it will plan it. Okay, so with these delay days, it can be controlled whether you want to plan or not, or when you want to push the demand. Okay, and search the capacity in the future. Okay, penalty for non-delivery. If suppose you want to prioritize the two products, you can define the priorities, define the penalty cost. Highest the non-delivery cost means that business will going to incur if it doesn't meet that demand. Okay, so then it will allocate the capacity first, and it will do the prioritization of that particular first. So these are second parameters where you can define it. Okay, so these are the two parameters related to the PPDS, which APO has earlier. Now it has brought it to S4. Okay, and the rest I think it is all similar. Procurement cost, production costs. These are all available earlier also, and nothing I think new. Okay, so this is the production. This is a material master. One material main master where we have to take care when we are trying to use the PPDS. Okay. So I will not go into all the master data today because there are many master data. Okay, which in the training I will going to cover it, but I will definitely try to show the Fury app here. Okay, let me show the Fury app how it looks like, because SAP now have created the Fury apps for I think 90% T code which was available in GUI. 90 to 95% they have brought into the Fury apps, and their look and feel is very good. Okay, so I've launched the Fury app here, and let's see if it works. Just give me the password. So this can be accessed with a tablet if you have some device which is not a laptop. So this is a cloud-based, so you can directly log in, and let's see. And let me go to the production planner role. Advanced planning, everyone. Yeah, this way. So I was mentioning that there is an app available to monitor the capacity. So this is the app where you can see monitor the capacity utilization. Okay, resource wise, you can see in the graphical table, and which resource is overloaded, which resource is underutilized. This is the one thing. And these are the two apps where we can do the drag and drop entire picture of plan order. We can see a resource wise in this advanced planning board and the production scheduling board. Okay. And we can run the MRP run from these two apps also directly. That provision is there. And we can do the capacity leveling, drag and drop, everything you can do with these two apps. So these are the three important apps for the advanced planning. Okay, and then you were asking about these are all the display plan order. You can do the conversion of plan order into purchase order here. Okay, that's also apps here. There's a MD04 transaction you can see here, which is similar to MD04. Okay, you can give the product code here. Let me type the product code. One product code I'll take here. So this app is very similar to the MD04, which we have seen in the GUI. Okay, so they have brought in the Fury apps. So you can see this all. You can see entire history of the one plan, the one material in that particular plant. What is my stock? What is my PO? So everything you can see with this in this app. Okay. So what I mean to say that for majority of the GUI code, okay, the app is available. Okay, which look and feel is very user friendly. Okay. And as far as the monitor, there was one ask whether I can see the process order, detailed process order. So yes, in the production planning role, there is one app which tells about the detail of the process order. Let me go there. Okay. This is an execution, I think. Yes. Production planning material. Okay, so you can see here. Monitor material coverage. Okay. And one more thing is that there is also a provision in this app where you can load the forecast from the Excel. So you can use this particular create PIR. Okay, there is an option available there to import the forecast from the Excel base. So you directly can import the forecast from material and plant through this app. Create plan independent requirement. Okay, so this is the apps. Okay, where you can see the monitor production order. You can see these two apps are there.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Nikhil. I think from the overview perspective, I think it gives us a good idea to visualize how advanced PPDS is going to help me out. What could be the processes relevant from the PPDS planning perspective, right? And then subsequently from next week onwards, we'll start having a deep dive into the process and system, right? We can pass it back to Parminder now. If there are no questions, and Parminder, you can take it ahead from here.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Nikhil. If there's any question you have which is not answered, and if you want to speak to answer the question, you can raise your hand. The support team would be sending the link again to enroll for the training, which is going to start next week. But before that, I would also try to cover 2 points because that question has been asked, and I think my explanation would help to cover those things, that who can learn PPDS and what are the job opportunities which is getting created in PPDS. And then I will again look if there's any open questions. So if you guys can stay a little bit more, Sam and Nikhil, maybe 15-20 minutes more, that would be great.
Sure.
Okay. Now the first thing is the job opportunities in PPDS. Now you will see Recently, the PPDS is not a new thing. It is available for 20 plus years. I think nearly 15 plus you can mark it, right? So this PPDS was available in APO, which is also called the SCM box, right? And anybody wants to use this PPDS from the APO box, we need to integrate when we are using ECC system. We need to integrate the ECC system with the APO system through SIF, through core interfaces, right? Where basically our materials, we need to shift it. And in PPDS, it become the product master. And then same way, all the transaction data, we need to SIF it. And the results come back from the APO. Okay. So that is the integration part is handled by SFE through SIF. But the two systems, so if you want to adopt to PPDS, you need to have a separate box, separate SCM box. In that you need to put PPDS, and then these both systems need to interact with each other with a lot of interfaces. Although we call it as a plug-in interfaces, but these are not that plug-in. The people who have worked with this integration, they know that what are the different problems it creates to shift the data from one system to another system. Things get stuck in the queue, and then we have some support consultant supporting 24/7 just to make sure that all the cleanup has been done, the things which got stuck, the tables which get inconsistent. There is a lot of another bad jobs which SAP has given to clean up and to make sure the data remains sync in both of the system. So this earlier was a quite hectic activity where both the system need to make in SIP, make in connection, and you need a separate box, separate infrastructure to implement PPDS. That's where the core functionality PP and MRP was sitting it here, right? And if somebody not need advanced functionality, the effort required was quite high. Well, what is going to happen with S4 HANA? In S4 HANA, within the S4 HANA itself, now embedded PPDS is available, ePPDS. So this PPDS brick has been removed and inserted into the S4 HANA itself. Now we don't need two separate systems. Now PPDS is there available in the same S4 HANA system. Although there is a connection through the live cache, which happens between the S4 HANA and ePPDS, but this is the internal connection. It's called internal SIF, and it is very much simplified. The batch jobs and other things has been very much simplified because everything, the transaction data is available in S4 HANA, and the master data is also available in S4 HANA, and the PPDS is also running on S4 HANA. This all is happening because of the capability of HANA database SAP is able to do. Now, what happened due to this scenario? Due to ePPDS, effort to implementation and manage PPDS is getting reduced. A lot of clients earlier who wanted to go ahead, a lot of clients who wanted to go ahead with this ePPDS, but because of this complex architecture, they was not adopting. But now the adoption to ePPDS is becoming quite easy. That's where we have seen after S4 HANA came into the picture and after embedded PPDS came into the picture, adoption to the PPDS is increasing. A lot of clients who have MRP and they think that by having a detailed scheduling, it will help to do the better planning. The production would be able to better plan. Now they are shifting to ePPDS. They are also adopting to ePPDS. That is bringing a lot of requirement in the market for PPDS consultants. So the embedded PPDS on S4 HANA is becoming a game changer for PPDS. When it was on APO, in APO, we know that the demand planning is the tool which was mostly used, widely used. PPDS was not that widely used in APO itself. Most demand planning was the most used. But because of this embedded PPDS coming into the picture, the adoption to the PPDS is increasing, and that is increasing the demand of the PPDS consultant in the market. That's why the number of job opportunities are increasing in PPDS. Okay, So that's where you would be able to come to know that why it is, what are the job opportunities are there. A lot of PPDS consultant job opportunities are there. PPDS is a complex topic. Once you learn it, you would be able to work as an end user, key user, or consultant. All three kind of jobs you would be able to apply for it. Okay. Now this brings me to the second question, that who can learn PPDS? Who can learn PPDS? Right? So PPDS would be the complex topic. It would not be that easy topic. You might be able to sense it with the heavy terminologies used, heuristics, horizons, right? So it would not be very easy and simple to learn. But you are able to learn if you are ready to put efforts, right? But still, I feel some background is required. If you are a PP consultant, and if you want to proceed your career more into the planning side of it, right? You want to enhance the planning side of it. PP, if you will ask me right now, is 35 to 40% planning and 60% execution it is there. Because in planning, it is only MRP is there. Although MRP also, a lot of people say that it's very tough, the planning strategies when it comes into the picture. People get confused, so the PPDS is the next level. So all the PP consultants who wants to grow their career in planning, PPDS is very good module to put your hand in. It's niche module. There are very less people in the PP itself. There are less people. PPDS is super niche. PPDS is super niche. Very less people are available. And if you can put your hand, and it is easy for the PP consultant to learn PPDS because of all the terminology which is used, because of all the master data which is used. That's why you will see 90% of the PPDS consultants is coming from the background of PP. They have worked on PP and then they upskill to the PPDS. So PPDS is a very good upskill module for the PP consultant, QM consultant, even MM and SD consultant who know, because MM also use MRP, who know a little bit of the planning, can jump into the PPDS. But I would say for PP consultant, this module is kind of a must. You will have to do it. Okay, if you want to be still be remaining into the game, it's a very good module to add on into your bucket. So all the PP consultant must learn PPDS. That's my suggestions. And if specifically you are interested into the planning side, you must go for the PPDS. If a fresher is there who wants to learn, if you are a complete fresher, then I would suggest you go for PP first, then PPDS. But if you are working as an end user, not necessarily SAP end user or key user, if you are already working as a scheduler or planner. So if you're working as a scheduler and planner, you would be very strong into the business processes of planning and the scheduling business processes. With that knowledge, you would be able to equip with the PPDS. Those people can straight away jump into the PPDS. But if you are a college fresher, I would recommend you go for PP first and then PPDS. All the PP consultant can go ahead with the PPDS. If you are a planner, if you're working as a planner, scheduler, you are an end user or a key user, then you can directly go for PPDS. I hope that might have answered that who are the people who should learn PPDS and what kind of job opportunities are there in PPDS. Okay. Anyone has any questions related to PPDS? If you want to speak, you can raise your hand. Sam has answered a lot of questions on the chat itself. Okay, so the sessions which will be done, it would be done combinedly with Sam and Nikhil. They both would be doing these sessions together so that we give you the best out of two. Sam, before dropping off, do you want to add something?
No, I think we covered it. It will be an exciting journey, team. I can assure you that it would be interactive sessions. What makes a difference between our training versus others? We make it use case basis. It's not a PPT driven training altogether. It is more of a process come system exposure together, right? At the same time, we intend you to be a expert in the process first and then to a system. System can be a supportive tool if we understand process clearly and able to visualize how a solution can be suitable for those business requirements. That's the key to success, right? And that's what we achieve for. We take a pause. We'll let you think over and see you during next week. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sam. Thank you very much, Nikhil. I know you both are quite busy. Really appreciate your presence.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you both. I would be quickly jumping into the career counseling. I already know there are some questions which has been asked, which is generic questions has been asked. Now I would be answering them. If you feel any of the question which has been missed, right, you can put it into the chat again, or you can feel free to raise hand so that I would be able to interact with you to answer your career related questions. One of the questions which we have in this chat, I will go through them, and if you feel your question is missed, please put it again. Subhash has a question. I'm looking to make a transition into SAP pre-sales. What kind of skill set and knowledge is required? What are the prerequisites to become SAP pre-sales role? Please guide. Now, the pre-sales is not a kind of a functional or technical consultant role, right? And it is not the defined things which will come in front of you. But Subhash, if you are going for the pre-sales, you need to have a good communication skills. You need to have a good knowledge on SAP in general. You should know what are the different modules are there. If you're looking for some training which can help you into the pre-sales, I will suggest you, we have one module that SAP functional modules for solution architects and leads. Functional module overview for leads and architects. So in this ones, we have covered all of the SAP functional modules. What kind of processes would be there, what kind of master data is there, what kind of transaction data can be done, so that you have overall knowledge of all of the modules. That will help you to understand the business requirement and to do a lot of discussion during your pre-sales. That is one of our course which can help you. Sorry, I have put it onto the wrong place. So Bhupinder, can you give a link to Subhash for the functional module overview? Bhupinder, kindly, Bhupinder and support team, please provide a link to Subhash. Ankit is asking on the whiteboard. So the different people use a different way. You can also see if you have seen the training by Sam Ankit, he goes more into the Excel sheet. IBP planning, they are more better explained in Excel sheet, because there you need to put the figures and then you can try to understand by putting the figures that what are the things and how the planning scenario will behave. So I always say every trainer is different. So the way the Sam and the Nikhil talk or teach is less presentations, more in system, and whenever it need to explain rather than using whiteboard, they use Excel sheets to put the scenario in there, to put the figures in there, and then try to explain that in different scenarios how the system would behave differently. Are there freelancing prospect? Yes, yes, for sure, Abhishek, because these are the super niche modules. IBP, PPDS. Whenever it comes to the planning is not that easy thing. There are very less people are able to. It is not the module like MM, SD, which you understand the business processes easily, and even you don't know it, still you would be able to correlate. Here you need to jump into, think through what are the business problem, what are the issues, right? What issues planner face. So it is a super niche modules, these planning modules. APO was always a super niche. PPDS is super niche. IBP is a super niche. These are super niche modules. And super niche modules have the most demand and the requirement for the freelancings. With that explanation, I have answered all of the questions which was there on the chat. I don't see any question which is there. By any case, if the question has been missed, you can quickly put it on the chat again so that I can get it answered. Okay, if you don't have any another question, we are ending. What is the time and duration of PPDS course? Kaustubh, it would be 30 to 35 hours. The duration would be 30 to 35 hours. And the time is, it is starting on 16th of March. It would be 8 p.m. IST, India Standard Time, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday and Sunday, 8 p.m. India Standard Time, it will happen. Starting from 16th March, and it would be 30 to 35 hours. With that, we are ending our session for today. Thank you everyone for joining today. It was a great interactive session. We appreciate your presence, and we'll see you in future when we start our batch. Thank you everyone. Have a good day. Bye-bye for now.